What's up guys, Groovy Guitar Dude here with a beginner guitar tutorial for Bitches Broken Hearts by Billie Eilish. If this video helps you out, hit that like and subscribe button and let me know down in the comments below what are the songs by Billie Eilish that you want to learn on guitar. Guys, the first thing that you want to know to play Bitches Broken Heart on guitar is that in order to get rid of some bar chords and keep this as beginner friendly as possible, we're going to capo up to 3rd fret. And if you don't have a capo, I'll even get this capo for free right up here. The next thing you want to know for Bitches Broken Heart is the structure of this song. We're going to start with a chorus, then go to verse, then chorus and verse again, then chorus, then bridge, and then we're gonna finish up with an outro. From there, you'll wanna know the 5 chords that we need to play this song. The first one is D, the next one is E, the next one is A, and then we have 2 a little bit weird ones. Don't freak out about these. We'll go over these more later in the song. They look hard, but I promise they're not as hard as they seem. The next one is gonna be A over C sharp, and the last one is gonna be A over F sharp. And I'll have chord charts for all of those in the pinned comment below for those of you who need them. And guys, with all that in mind, let's dive into Bitches Broken Heart. Man, this is such a groovy and just chill and beautiful song. It's a vibey song, and I love vibey songs. And you guys know that I love teaching Billie Eilish, so whenever I heard this and got some requests for it and stuff, I was like, we have to do this song. And it's one of those that I've been telling you guys that I would do for a long time, and I'm just now finally getting caught up to where I can do it. So anyways, this is an awesome song, and I love it because it's also fairly beginner friendly as well. So with that in mind, let's take a look at this. First of all, we're gonna have just one strum pattern that's gonna play through the entire song, and it's just gonna be a single down strum per chord. So that helps us out a lot because we don't have to think so much about what's going on over here because we know we just have a single down strum for each chord, which is great. So with that in mind, let's take a look at our chord progressions. For our chord progressions, first chord progression we're gonna have is what's gonna be played through the majority of the song. It's gonna be what's played on our verses, choruses, and our outro. So everything except for the bridge is gonna have this chord progression right here. It's gonna be D. We're gonna hang out on that D for a second, and then we're gonna go to E, and then A, and we're gonna have that A over C sharp, which I know some of you guys are like, what the heck, man, that is not a beginner-friendly chord, this is not a beginner-friendly lesson. But let me explain that. There's a couple ways to do that. So I'm gonna show you the full chord and walk you through that full chord first, because I know it's a little bit weird and tricky and probably not familiar to most of you. So the full A over C sharp chord looks like this. It's just an A chord, so 2nd on the D, G, and B strings, and you get your pinky, and you take it up here, and you put it on 4th fret of the A string, and you strum A string down. That's your full A over C sharp chord. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there are beginners and are like, dude, what the heck? My pinky does not bend like that. And that's totally okay. I'm gonna show you 2 alternate ways that you can play this that are much more beginner friendly. So first alternate way that's a little bit more beginner friendly is we're gonna restructure our A over here. And what we're gonna do, instead of playing a full A, is we're gonna play kind of more of an A sus, and we're gonna have a 2nd fret on the G and D strings. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna either take our ring finger or our pinky, whichever one's more comfortable, and reached up there to that 4th fret of A string. Now, whichever one's more comfortable to you guys, whichever you can make the stretch easier, but we're gonna do the same thing, just A string down. Same exact thing, it just opens up that B string and gives us an extra finger to where if you don't want to use your pinky, you don't have to. So the other option there that is even a little bit more beginner friendly than that is that rather than playing that full chord, we can just go instead and just play just that single C sharp note, that A 4th fret. So kind of what that would look like would be like this. We got D, hang out on that, and then we go E, and then A, and then hit that 4th fret A string, and then back to the D. You don't even play the full chord there. So it's up to you guys which way you use. I will be showing the full chord because I think it sounds better, and it just kind of depends on what you want to do with it. But if you're a beginner and you're not quite to where you can make that stretch yet, no worries. Just use one of those alternatives, like again, this one, or just even the single note is just fine. So again, one more time through our chord progression. We've got D, we hang out on that for a second, and then we go E and A, and then A over C sharp. So one thing you'll notice real quick before we dive through that and kind of run through it is kind of the way that it's structured, right? So what we got is that D and we hang out on that, right? That's really for about 2 measures. So that means it's about twice as long on that D chord as it is for everything else. Then we go to that E, and we're pretty quick out of that E, and then we go to the A, and we're pretty quick out of that, and then we go to the A sharp, and then we're pretty quickly back into the D. So everything except for that D is pretty quick in and out of it, basically is what that means. And then the D just hangs out for 2 measures. So again, guys, this is going to be the chord progression and strum pattern that's playing through about probably 95% of this song, everything except for the bridge. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to run through that really slowly just so you can see exactly what the transitions look like and all that stuff. And then I'll run through it a couple of times full speed so you can match it up with the speed of the song. So slowly once should look about like this. And guys, a couple of times through that main chord progression that will repeat through almost the entire song, except for the bridge, full speed will look about like this. And from there, guys, we're into the bridge, which is the only other thing that we need to know for this song. It's going to be very, very similar to what we're playing for the rest of the song. We're just going to switch our chord progression up just a little bit. So this is the chord progression we're going to be using for bridge. Again, we're going to start with that D chord. We're going to let that hang for a second. And then we're going to go to E. And then we're going to have this other chord here, which is going to be an A over F sharp. Which again, that looks intimidating, but we have a few workarounds for that as well if you're not quite to that point. So first of all, what is that A over F sharp? It's what it sounds like. Again, just like our A over C sharp, we're gonna have an A chord, so second on the D, G, and B strings. And then we're gonna add a second on low E for that low F sharp note as our bass note. And that's what that is. And you can see I'm doing that with my thumb, but you actually don't have to. So if you want to do that, you can kind of adjust all your fingers up to where you're using your pinky, ring, and middle fingers for your A chord, and then go up here to second on your low E with your pointer finger and get the same exact sound. And that is actually on its own fairly beginner friendly. That's actually a fairly beginner friendly chord. But again, to simplify that down, two alternatives, what you can do is you can play A on your A, regular, basically like again, an A sus on your second fret D and G strings, and then again add that pointer finger second fret on your low E. So same thing, we're just playing basically an A sus instead, to where we're not using as many fingers, you're not using your pinky on this one, keeping that B string open. The other alternative, again, that's even one step easier than that, is you can play just that second on low E bass note, and that's it. If you want to do it that way. So if we were going to do it that way, we'd have our D, and then we'd go E, and then hit that, let it hang out, and then back to your D string, D chord again. So again, that's just kind of some options for beginners out there. If you're not quite to those chords, they're a little bit tricky, but they're really not too bad, especially that A over F sharp situation. Again, you don't have to bar, you don't really have to stretch that much. It is a little bit crowded in there, but I would recommend using the full chord if you can, or at the very least using this one, the A sus with the second on the low E. It's just kind of up to you, but I like to use a full chord if you're able to. If not, it's up to you. Do whatever you can do. So with that in mind, again, going through that chord progression, we're going to go D, let that hang out, E, and then A, and let that A over F sharp hang out. I'm sorry, I meant A over F sharp, but you're going to let that A over F sharp hang out, and then back to your D, and then E, and then A over F sharp, let that A over F sharp hang out. And I actually think we only go through that twice because it's a really short bridge. But all that said, guys, again, one last time just to make sure, I don't feel like I wasn't super clear about that. I was kind of rambling about that A over F sharp, but just one more time walked through that before we play through it. We'll look like this. We go D, and then we go E, and then A over F sharp, D, and then A over F sharp. And then, like I said, I believe it just plays through that twice total for the bridge, and then we're back into the normal one that we use for the outro. So With all that in mind, guys, a couple of times through that bridge chord progression with that single down strum pattern will look about like this. And guys, that is everything that you need to know to play Bitch's Broken Heart on guitar. As always, if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments down below. I'm usually pretty quick getting back to those. And again, if this video helps you out, hit that subscribe button. I have about 650 other guitar and ukulele lessons on this channel, and I usually try to post at least 3 to 5 new lessons every single week. So if you're learning guitar or ukulele, there cannot be a more perfect channel for you to check out. And if you want to see what songs I'm jamming on today, or pictures of my dog, you can hit up my Instagram story at The Groovy Guitar. The link for that will be in the description below. Guys, Bitch's Broken Heart is another one of those songs that I've gotten so many requests for. You guys love when I teach Billie Eilish songs, and I love teaching Billie Eilish songs, and this is no exception. I really like this song for beginner guitarists because it's really just using single down strums through the whole song. First of all, that makes it super easy. The other thing too is that all of the chords that we're using in this, because of the way we capoed up, are very beginner friendly. Most of the song, like I said, is going to be that D and then E, A, and then that A over C sharp. The A over C sharp thing that may seem confusing, but again, we kind of walked through that in there. It's not as hard as it sounds. And then really the only part that changes is in the bridge, where we switch over to that thing with the A over F sharp, which again sounds complicated, but it's not as tricky as it seems like it would be, as we kind of went over earlier. It's really still a very beginner friendly chord. Both of those are really great alternatives to where you don't have to play a full C sharp or C sharp minor chord, or a full F sharp or F sharp minor chord. So again, don't always avoid those, but if you're a beginner, that's kind of a good way to work around them until you get bar chords down. So anyways, this is a great song. It's beautiful, it's vibey. I love just chill, vibey music, and this is one of those songs. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad that you guys requested it. So I had a lot of fun learning this song. I hope you guys have a lot of fun learning as well. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all soon.